friends, seekers of personal growth. I stand before you today with a message that has the power to transform your life. It's a simple yet profound truth that many of us overlook in our daily hustle. The key to true happiness lies within ourselves. Today, we're going to talk about letting go and learning to be happy alone. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Wayne, how can being alone make me happy? Isn't happiness about connections and relationships? And you're right, to an extent. Human connections are vital, but they're not the whole. The most important relationship you'll ever have is the one with yourself. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you felt lonely in a crowded room? How often have you sought validation from others only to feel empty when it came? That's because true contentment, lasting joy, doesn't come from external sources. It springs from within. Let's start by understanding what it means to let go. Letting go isn't about giving up or surrendering. It's about releasing the grip of control we often try to maintain over our lives and the people in them. It's about freeing ourselves from the expectations, both our own and those of others, that weigh us down like heavy chains. When we learn to let go, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities. We stop trying to force outcomes and start flowing with life's natural current. This doesn't mean we become passive observers in our own lives. Far from it. We become active participants, but with a crucial difference. We act from a place of inner peace and self-assurance, not from fear or neediness. Now, let's address the second part of our thing. Learning to be happy alone. This isn't about isolation or cutting yourself off from the world. It's about finding fulfillment and joy in your own company, about being complete in yourself. Many of us have been conditioned to believe that we need someone else to complete us, that we're somehow lacking on our own. This belief is not only false, but it's also harmful. It leads us to seek happiness in all the wrong places, to depend on others for our emotional well-being, and to fear solitude. But here's the truth. You are already whole. You are already complete. You don't need anyone else to fill a void, because there is no void. What you need is to recognize and nurture the incredible potential that already exists with. Learning to be happy alone means developing a deep, loving relationship with yourself. It means becoming your own best friend, your own cheerleader, your own source of comfort and inspiration. When you can do this, you'll find that your relationships with others improve dramatically. Why? Because you're no longer approaching them from a place of need or desperation. You're coming from a place of abundance, of wholeness. So how do we put these ideas into practice? How do we let go and learn to be happy alone? It starts with small daily habits that gradually reshape our thinking and our lives. First, practice mindfulness. Take time each day to simply be present with yourself. This could be through meditation, a quiet walk in nature, or just sitting in silence for a few minutes. The goal is to become comfortable with your own thoughts and feelings, to observe them without judgment. Next, cultivate self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a dear friend. When you make a mistake or face a setback, don't berate yourself. Instead, acknowledge the difficulty and develop your interests and passions. What lights you up inside? What activities make you lose track of time? Pursue these with enthusiasm. When you're engrossed in something you love, you'll find that feelings of loneliness or discontent fade away. Practice gratitude. Each day, take note of the things you're thankful for. This simple habit can shift your focus from what you lack to the abundance that already exists in your life. Learn to say no. Many of us struggle with this, fearing that we'll disappoint others or miss out on opportunities. But saying no to things that don't align with your values or bring you joy is a powerful way of saying yes to yourself. Embrace solitude. Start small if you need to. Spend an afternoon alone doing something you enjoy. Gradually increase the time you spend in your own company. You might be surprised at how refreshing and rejuvenating it can be. Challenge negative self-talk. We all have an inner critic, that voice that tells us we're not good enough or that we need others to validate our worth. When you notice this voice piping up, question it. Is what it's saying really true? What would you say to a friend who expressed these thoughts? Create a nurturing environment for yourself. Make your living space a reflection of your inner world. Surround yourself with things that inspire and uplift you. Practice self-care. This goes beyond bubble baths and face masks, so those can be nice too. True self-care is about meeting your own needs, both physical and emotional. It's about setting boundaries, getting enough rest, nourishing your body with healthy food, and engaging in activities that replenish your spirit. Learn to sit with uncomfortable emotions. Often, we seek the company of others or engage in distracting activities to avoid facing our own feelings. But true growth comes from acknowledging and working through these emotions, not avoiding. Reframe your perspective on being alone. Instead of seeing it as a lack of company, view it as an opportunity for growth, reflection, and self-discovery. Develop a personal mission statement. What do you stand for? What are your core values? Having a clear sense of purpose can be incredibly grounding and can guide you through times of uncertainty. Practice forgiveness, both of yourself and others. Holding on to grudges and resentments only weighs you down. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning harmful actions. It means freeing yourself from the burden of anger and hurt. Celebrate your achievements, no matter how small. Too often, we brush off our accomplishments or attribute them to luck. Take time to acknowledge your efforts and successes. Learn something new. Engaging in lifelong learning keeps your mind active and gives you a sense of progress and achievement. Connect with nature. Spending time outdoors can help you feel connected to something larger than yourself and can provide a sense of peace and perspective. Practice random acts of kindness. Doing something nice for others without expecting anything in return can boost your own happiness and reinforce your connection to the world around you. Develop a positive morning routine. How you start your day can set the tone for everything that follows. Create a morning ritual that energizes and inspires. Keep a journal. Writing down your thoughts and feelings can help you process emotions, gain insights, and track your personal growth over time. Visualize your ideal self. Spend time imagining the person you want to become. What qualities do they have? How do they spend their time? Use this vision as a guide for your personal development. Practice patience with yourself. Change doesn't happen overnight. Be kind to yourself as you work on developing these new habits and ways of thinking. Now, I want to address something important. As you embark on this journey of letting go and learning to be happy alone, you might encounter resistance both from within yourself and from others. This is normal. Our minds are wired to resist change, even when that change is positive. And the people in our lives might be uncomfortable with the new, more self-assured version of us that's emerging. Remember, their discomfort is not your responsibility. You're not changing to please others or to fit into someone else's idea of who you should be. You're changing because you recognize the immense value in being true to yourself. People might accuse you of being selfish. But here's the truth. There's a world of difference between being selfish and practicing self-care. Selfishness comes from a place of lack, of trying to get what you need at the expense. Self-care, on the other hand, comes from a place of abundance. When you take care of yourself, when you're fulfilled and content, you have so much more to offer the world. Have you ever been on an airplane and listened to the safety instructions? They always tell you to put on your own oxygen mask before helping others. Why? Because if you run out of oxygen yourself, you won't be able to help anyone else. The same principle applies in life. By taking care of your own emotional and spiritual needs, by learning to be happy on your own, you become better equipped to support and love others. As you continue on this path, you'll likely notice changes in your relationships. Some might fall away, and that's okay. Not everyone is meant to journey with us forever, but you'll also find that the relationships that remain become deeper, more often. Why? Because you're no longer depending on these relationships to fill a void or validate your worth. You're approaching them from a place of wholeness, of giving rather than taking. You might also find that you attract new people into your life, people who resonate with this new, more authentic version of yourself. Embrace these connections, but remember, they're a beautiful addition to your life, not the source of your happiness. Now, I want to address a common misconception about happiness. Many people believe that happiness is a destination, a fixed state that we reach, and then what? Live in blissful contentment forever? But that's not how life works. Happiness isn't a destination. It's a journey, a practice. There will still be days when you feel sad, angry, or frustrated. That's part of the human experience. The difference is that when you've learned to be happy alone, these negative emotions don't define you. They're like weather patterns passing through the sky of your consciousness. You acknowledge them, you feel them, but you don't become them. This is where the practice of mindfulness becomes so powerful. By learning to observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment, you create space between yourself and these experiences. You realize that you are not your thoughts or your emotions. You are the awareness that experiences them. This realization is incredibly liberating. It means that no matter what life throws at you, no matter what thoughts or feelings arise, there's a part of you that remains untouched, serene, complete. This is your true self, and connecting with it is the key to lasting happiness and peace. As you continue to practice letting go and being happy alone, you'll likely experience moments of profound joy and contentment. Cherish these moments, but don't cling to them. Remember, everything in life is transient. The same impermanence that makes our challenges bearable also applies to our moments of happiness. The goal isn't to achieve a constant state of euphoria. It's to develop a deep, abiding sense of peace and self-acceptance that can weather life's ups and downs. It's about finding joy in the simple moments, in the act of being alive. You might be wondering, but Wayne, if I learn to be happy alone, won't I become isolated? Won't I miss out on the joys of connection and relationship? This is a valid concern, but it's based on a misunderstanding. Learning to be happy alone doesn't mean you'll always be alone. It means you'll be coming from a place of wholeness in all your interactions. Think about the people in your life who inspire you, who seem to radiate a sense of peace and contentment. Chances are, these are people who have done the inner work we're talking about. They've learned to be happy with themselves, and as a result, they're able to form deep, meaningful connections with others. When you're happy alone, you don't enter relationships out of neediness or fear of being alone. You choose to connect with others because you genuinely want to, not because you need them to fill a void. This leads to healthier, more balanced relationships. Moreover, when you're comfortable with solitude, you're able to give others space to be themselves. You're not constantly seeking validation or trying to control the behavior of those around you. This creates an atmosphere of freedom and authenticity in your relationships that allows for deeper, more meaningful connections. Learning to be happy alone also gives you the strength to walk away from situations or relationships that no longer serve you. When you know you can be content on your own, you're less likely to stay in toxic environments out of fear of being alone. Now, let's talk about the role of purpose in happiness. Many people believe that to be truly happy, they need to discover their life's purpose, that one big thing they're meant to do. And while having a sense of purpose is indeed important, it doesn't have to be some grand, world-changing mission. Your purpose can be as simple as bringing more kindness into the world, or continually working on your own personal growth. It can be raising conscious, compassionate children or creating art that touches people's hearts. The key is to find something that gives your life meaning, something that aligns with your values and brings you a sense of fulfillment. When you're clear on your purpose, decision-making becomes easier. You can ask yourself, does this align with my purpose? Does it bring me closer to the person I want to be? This clarity can be incredibly freeing. Remember, your purpose can evolve over time. What gives your life meaning at 30 might be different from what gives it meaning at 50 or 70. The important thing is to stay connected with yourself, to regularly check in and ensure that your actions are aligned with your values and goals. As we continue on this journey of letting go and learning to be happy alone, I want to address the role of gratitude. Gratitude is like a magic key that can unlock joy in even the most challenging circumstances. When you cultivate a grateful heart, you shift your focus from what's lacking in your life to the abundance that already exists. Start each day by thinking of 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big things. Maybe you're grateful for the warm sunlight streaming through your window, or for the comfy bed you slept in, or for the cup of coffee you're about to eat. As you practice this, you'll find that you start noticing more and more things to be grateful for throughout your day. Gratitude doesn't just make you feel good in the moment. It actually rewires your brain, making you more attuned to the positive aspects of your life. This doesn't mean ignoring problems or challenges, but it does help put them in perspective. When you're grateful, you're less likely to compare yourself to others or to feel that you're lacking something. You recognize the unique blessings in your own life, which makes it easier to be content with what you have. Now let's talk about the power of your thoughts. Your thoughts create your reality. This isn't just some new age concept. It's backed by science. The thoughts you habitually think shape your neural pathways, influencing your perceptions, your emotions, and ultimately your actions. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, that you need someone else to complete you, that's the reality you'll create for yourself. But if you consciously choose to think thoughts of self-love, of abundance, of capability, you'll start to see evidence of these qualities in your life. This doesn't mean engaging in toxic positivity or denying the existence of challenges. It means approaching life with a growth mindset, believing in your ability to learn, grow, and overcome obstacles. Pay attention to your self-talk. When you notice negative thoughts creeping in, don't judge them or try to push them away. Instead, gently replace them with more positive, empowering thoughts. For example, if you find yourself thinking, "I'm so lonely," try reframing it as, "I have the opportunity to enjoy my own company and pursue my interests." Remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts, and you have the power to choose which thoughts you want to entertain and which ones you want to let go of. As you work on letting go and being happy alone, you might encounter fear. Fear of being alone, fear of missing out, fear of not being good enough. This is normal. Fear is a natural part of the human experience, and it often shows up when we're on the verge of significant growth. The key is to recognize fear for what it is. A feeling, not a fact. Just because you feel afraid doesn't mean you're in danger. Often our fears are just echoes from our past, old patterns of thinking that no longer serve us. When fear arises, acknowledge it. Thank it for trying to protect you, but let it know that you're safe, that you're capable of handling whatever comes your way. Then take a deep breath and move forward anyway. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's action in the face of fear. As you practice facing your fears, you'll find that they start to lose their power over you. You'll discover a strength and resilience within yourself that you might not have known existed. Now let's talk about the importance of self-trust. Many of us have been conditioned to look outside ourselves for answers, to seek validation and approval from others before making decisions. But true happiness and peace come from learning to trust your own inner wisdom. You have within you an innate wisdom, an inner GPS that can guide you towards what's right for you. But to hear this inner voice, you need to create space for silence and reflection in your life. This is where practices like meditation or journaling can be incredibly valuable. Start paying attention to your intuition. Those gut feelings that often turn out to be right. The more you listen to and act on these intuitive nudges, the stronger your self-trust will become. Trusting yourself doesn't mean you'll never make mistakes. It means you trust in your ability to handle whatever outcomes arise from your decisions. It means you're willing to learn from your experiences and adjust your course as needed. When you trust yourself, you're less likely to be swayed by the opinions of others or to compromise your values for the sake of fitting in. You become more authentic, more aligned with your true self, and as a result, more content and fulfilled. Let's talk about the concept of surrender. Often, we think of surrender as giving up or admitting defeat. But in the context of personal growth, surrender is about releasing the need to control every aspect of your life and instead think about nature. A tree doesn't stress about growing leaves in the spring or shedding them in the fall. It simply responds to the changing seasons, trusting in the natural cycle of life. We can learn a lot from this approach. Surrendering doesn't mean becoming passive or apathetic. It means recognizing that there are aspects of life that are beyond our control and choosing to focus our energy on the things we can influence, primarily our own thoughts, attitudes, and actions. When you surrender in this way, you release a huge amount of tension and anxiety. You stop fighting against reality and start working with it. This doesn't mean you don't have goals or ambitions. It means you pursue them with a sense of ease and flow rather than desperate striving. Surrender also involves accepting yourself as you are right now. This doesn't mean you stop growing or improving. It means you stop tying your self-worth to some future version of yourself. You recognize that you are worthy and complete just as you are, while also embracing the journey of continuous growth and evolution. Now let's address the role of forgiveness in happiness. Holding on to anger, resentment, or grudges is like carrying around a heavy backpack filled with rocks. It weighs you down, saps your energy, and prevents you from moving forward freely in life. Forgiveness isn't about condoning harmful actions or pretending that you weren't hurt. It's about freeing yourself from the burden of negative emotions. It's a gift you give yourself, not the person who wronged you. This includes forgiving yourself. Many of us are harder on ourselves than we would ever be on others. We hold on to guilt and shame over past mistakes, replaying them in our minds and using them as evidence of our unworthiness. But this self-punishment serves no positive purpose. It doesn't change the past, and it doesn't help you create a better future. Practice self-forgiveness. Acknowledge your mistakes, learn from them, and then let them go. Treat yourself with the same compassion and understanding you would offer a dear friend. As you work on letting go and being happy alone, you might find that your priorities start to shift. Things that once seemed critically important might lose their urgency. You might find yourself less interested in acquiring material possessions and more focused on experiences and personal growth. This is a natural part of the process. As you become more content within yourself, you'll likely find that your definition of success changes. Instead of chasing external markers of achievement, you might start prioritizing inner peace, authentic relationships, and alignment with your values. Embrace these changes. They're signs that you're growing, that you're becoming more attuned to what truly matters to you. Let's talk about the power of presence. So often, we're caught up in regrets about the past or anxieties about the future that we miss the beauty and richness of the present moment. But the present is all we ever really have. The past is gone and the future is not yet here. Our power lies in the now. Practice being fully present in each moment. When you're eating, really taste your food. When you're walking, feel the ground beneath your feet. When you're talking with someone, give them your full attention. This kind of mindful presence can transform ordinary moments into extraordinary experiences. Being present also helps you connect more deeply with yourself. When you're fully in the moment, you're more attuned to your feelings, your needs, and your intuition. This deepens your self-understanding and strengthens your ability to be happy alone. Now let's address the concept of boundaries. Many people struggle with setting healthy boundaries, especially if they've been conditioned to prioritize others' needs over their own. But boundaries are essential for maintaining your well-being and cultivating healthy relationships. Setting boundaries isn't about building walls or pushing people away. It's about clearly communicating your needs, limits, and expectations. It's about respecting yourself enough to say no to things that don't align with your values or that drain your energy. When you have clear boundaries, you create space for genuine connection and intimacy. You're able to give freely because you're coming from a place of abundance rather than depletion. Remember, you're not responsible for other people's reactions to your boundaries. Some people might push back or try to make you feel guilty, but stand firm in the knowledge that you have the right to take care of yourself. As you continue on this journey of personal growth, you might encounter what's often called the dark night of the soul. This is a period of deep questioning, of confronting your shadows and fears. It can be uncomfortable, even painful, but it's also an opportunity for profound transformation. During these times, it's important to be gentle with yourself, seek support if you need it, whether that's from trusted friends, a therapist, or a spiritual guide. Remember that this is a natural part of the growth process. Just as a caterpillar must go through the darkness of the cocoon before emerging as a butterfly, we often need to confront our inner darkness before we can fully step into our light. Let's talk about the power of choice. Every moment of every day, you have the power to choose your thoughts, your attitudes, and your actions. This might seem obvious, but many of us go through life on autopilot, reacting habitually rather than responding. Start paying attention to the choices you make throughout your day. Choose thoughts that empower you. Choose actions that align with your values. Choose to respond to challenges with curiosity and resilience rather than frustration or despair. Remember, you might not be able to control everything that happens to you, but you always have control over how you respond. This realization is incredibly empowering. It means that no matter what circumstances you find yourself in, you always have the power to shape your experience. Now, let's address the role of service in happiness. It might seem counterintuitive when we're talking about being happy alone, but serving others can be a powerful source of joy and fulfillment. When you give of yourself, whether it's your time, your skills, or your resources, you shift your focus away from your own concerns and connect with something larger than yourself. This can provide a sense of purpose and meaning that significantly enhances your overall well-being. Service doesn't have to mean grand gestures or formal volunteering, although those can be wonderful. It can be as simple as offering a kind word to someone who's struggling, helping a neighbor with a task, or sharing your knowledge with someone who could benefit from it. The key is to approach service not from a place of obligation or self-sacrifice, but from a genuine desire to contribute to the well-being of others. When you serve in this way, you'll often find that you receive far more than you give. Let's talk about the importance of play and creativity and happiness. As adults, we often get so caught up in our responsibilities and routines that we forget the joy of play. But play isn't just for children. It's a vital component of a fulfilling life at any age. Make time for activities that bring you joy, that allow you to lose track of time, that spark your creativity. This could be anything from painting to playing a musical instrument, from gardening to playing sports, from writing poetry to solving puzzles. These activities aren't frivolous or unproductive. They're essential for your mental and emotional well-being. They help you stay connected to your inner child, that part of you that finds wonder and delight in the world. Creativity, in particular, can be a powerful tool for self-discovery and expression. It allows you to process your emotions, explore new ideas, and connect with your inner wisdom in ways that logical thinking alone can't achieve. Don't worry about being good at these activities. The point isn't to produce masterpieces or to compete with others. It's to enjoy the process, to express yourself freely, to play for the sake of playing. Now, let's address the concept of impermanence. Everything in life is constantly changing. Our thoughts, our feelings, our circumstances, nothing stays the same forever. This can be scary if we're trying to hold on to things, but it can also be incredibly liberating. When you truly understand impermanence, you stop clinging so tightly to things. You're able to enjoy the good times fully, knowing that they won't last forever, but also knowing that the challenging times will pass too. This understanding can help you let go of grudges, of regrets, of fears about the future. It can help you appreciate the present moment more fully, knowing that it's fleeting and precious. Impermanence also reminds us of the importance of growth and adaptation. Since everything is always changing, we need to be willing to change too. This doesn't mean losing your core values or sense of self. It means being flexible, open to new experiences and ideas, willing to evolve as life evolves around you. Let's talk about the power of your words. The language you use, both in your self-talk and in your communication with others, has a profound impact on your reality. Words are not just descriptors of reality. They help create reality. Pay attention to the words you habitually use. Are they empowering or limiting? Do they reflect the reality you want to create? For example, instead of saying, I have to do this, try saying, I choose to do this. Instead of, I can't, try, how can I? This isn't about denying reality or pretending everything is perfect. It's about using language that empowers you, that opens up possibilities rather than shutting them down. This principle applies to how you talk about yourself too. The stories you tell about who you are and what you're capable of become self-fulfilling prophecies. Choose to tell empowering stories about yourself. Now let's address the concept of balance. Often, when we're working on personal growth, we can fall into the trap of extremes. We might become so focused on self-improvement that we neglect other important aspects of our lives. Remember, the goal is not to become a perfect, enlightened being who never experiences negative emotions. The goal is to live a rich, full life, embracing all of your experiences, the joys and the sorrows, the successes and the failures. Strive for balance in all areas of your life. Balance work with play, solitude with connection, giving with receiving, doing with being. This balance will look different for everyone and it will shift over time. The key is to stay attuned to your needs and adjust accordingly. As we near the end of our time together, I want to remind you that the journey of letting go and learning to be happy alone is ongoing. It's not a destination you reach and then stop. It's a practice, a way of living that you'll continue to refine throughout your life. There will be days when it feels easy, when you're filled with joy and contentment. There will also be days when it's challenging, when old patterns resurface or when life throws unexpected difficulties your way. Both types of days are part of the journey. The key is to approach each day, each moment, with an attitude of openness and curiosity. See each experience as an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. Treat yourself with kindness. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. Even as you learn to be happy by yourself, you're connected to a vast web of life. Your growth and happiness ripple out, affecting everyone and everything around you in ways you might not even realize. So as you go forward from here, I encourage you to embrace this journey fully. Let go of what no longer serves you. Learn to find joy and contentment in your own company. Trust in your inner wisdom. Be kind to yourself and others. Stay open to the wonder and beauty of life. You have within you everything you need to create a life of joy, meaning, and fulfillment. Trust in that. Believe in yourself. And remember, the greatest gift you can give to the world is your own happiness and wholeness. Thank you for sharing this time with me. May your journey be filled with growth, joy, and endless discoveries about the amazing person you truly are.